Well, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, we have a new cornerback in the room. We have Joey Porter Jr., out of Penn State. Father played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is pretty incredible. Not someone that I want to sit and take in 17, falls to 32. The Steelers don't usually get to pick at 32, so that's a really big bonus for them to get real depth. Top cornerback on the board. Now, the interesting thing is you're seeing a slide from my day two best picks. Emmanuel Forbes went. Joey Porter was the next best cornerback on the board, and that's how it reflected. So this was this is basically how I sort of ranked the cornerbacks that I thought might fall to day two. I did think Emmanuel Forbes would sneak into day one. He got picked a lot higher than that, but we're here to talk about Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr. obviously out of Penn State, much more of a coverage corner, man corner. Now that's interesting because under Terrell Austin, the Steelers have shifted to a man coverage scheme. PFF's latest grades into the season said that at week 12, the Steelers have played 46% of their coverage in man. So he definitely fits what they're looking to do. He's more of a press corner. He's a bigger corner at 6'2", about somewhere between 195, 200 pounds. I have him at a 4.46 on the stats I was able to pull up. So Joey Porter Jr. will immediately strengthen a cornerback room that includes Patrick Peterson. He'll get to learn from him. Very similar body types. He'll also get to learn from, also be supporting there around Levi Wallace, Akello Witherspoon. They've got James Pierre that they brought back in free agency, but he's probably way down that list. They've got Arthur Morlett in the slot. Then you've got Norwood who flexes around. So immediately the Steelers get a big coverage, rangy corner. It does definitely benefit the team. I've been very public that I had him as I struggled to get more than a 35 to top 40 grade on him, but he is the best corner on the board, and that is a need for the Steelers. There is a tie. They know him. He falls to them, and when players fall to them, that's when the Steelers look to pounce. Think about the Pat Freiermuth situation. Think about the George Pickens situation last year. So let's get back to Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr.'s stats, pretty cool from him. Now, one thing you'll know when you see these, he's not a big guy for interceptions, but that's also the fact that he's got rare length when it comes to the cornerback position. He has 1 sack according to Sports Reference. That's Pro Football Reference's college program. Interceptions, he only has 1 to 2, depending on whether you look at PFF or you look at Sports Reference. 20 pass defenses. But thing to remember with him as well, he has only played more than double digits games in 2021 and 2022. He played 13 games in 2021, 10 games in 2022. But he does have a number of tackles. He had 50 tackles in 2021, 27 tackles last year. And obviously at the college level, when teams recognize that you've got good cornerback game, especially when you've got a name like Joey Porter Jr. and the son of an NFL, linebacker for the Steelers, they are going to avoid you if you can play. And so that's the harder thing when you're evaluating secondary players out of college. Looking at it from a season grades perspective on PFF, he played 1,700 snaps in his career, according to PFF. Defensive grade got better as he matured. So he went from a 62.9 in 2019 all the way to a 73.2 in 2022. But his coverage grade also progressed like that. So even if you don't love PFF grades, what you can see is that coverage upgrading. So he went from a 60.7 in 2019 to a 77.4 in 2022. The Steelers definitely get a guy that's going to improve their room. He's from a missed tackles perspective, he did miss 17.6% of his tackles in 2022. Didn't love that part of him. So that's an area he's going to have to improve if he wants to be a starter on this Pittsburgh Steelers team. But that's all good. That's something he can focus and develop on. One of the key stats that most Steelers fans will love to hear is that he's never allowed, at least when he started double-digit games, he's never allowed more than 60% catch rate on targets that have been thrown his way. So he allowed 33 on 55 in 2021, and he allowed 15 on 30 in 2022. So 50%, that's pretty cool. Only allowed 143 yards. He hasn't even allowed 800 yards in his whole college career. So that's pretty terrific when it looks at what that coverage is going to be. Now, yes, in the NFL, it's going to get a lot harder for him, but certainly I think he's up to the task. He's a quick guy. I do like him. They've taken the best guy on the board here, and it fills a need. And so, even if I don't personally didn't struggle to get a top 32 grade on him, he's at 32. He's a second rounder. That's great. Interestingly, from a snaps perspective, when he's not played at corner, the most snaps he's played is in the box. that could tell you a lot about how the Steelers want to use him in sub package, particularly given you've got KZ as that third safety, who's actually a lighter guy. He's like 170 to 178 pounds. So bringing Joey Porter in immediately beefs up if you want to look at a possible 3 safety set. What that mix-up looks like, we'll have to see as the Steelers develop their defensive scheme around some of these guys in 2023. But awesome for Steeler fans. Awesome Joey Porter Jr. gets to stay home locally. The Steelers get a guy they know. And hey, it runs in the family. We've had the Watts, we've had the Haywoods. Now we've got the Porters. Love it. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.